interesting, and her mother's a necromancer, and it is based on the 9 circles of hell.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Holy shit. Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a very exciting video and I cannot wait to get started. Before we continue, please remember to like and subscribe and leave me a comment down below if you have a moment. But this week we're going to be reading popular books that I've been putting off. So these are all TikTok or BookTube popular, and I've never read it, and there's so much hype surrounding these books and I cannot wait to know what it's about and see if I agree. On this week's agenda, in honor of Onyx Storm coming out, I'm going to be reading Fourth Wing. I know I've been putting it off for ages just because there was so much hype around it that I felt like, I wasn't that interested. That usually happens even with my makeup channel. If something has so much hype around it and is so viral, I'm kind of put off by it. But I think it's time now that we have 3 books in the series. I've heard that this one is really good, and then the second one is mid, and the third one kind of mid too. But we'll be the judge of that. So I know this involves dragons, but other than that, I have absolutely no idea what it's about. I do know that everybody absolutely loves this, and it like broke the internet when it came out. So I'm excited to see what it's about, and I think we might start with this one. Next, Listen for the Lie by, I can't pronounce her name, Amy Tintera. I picked this up earlier this year because I did not hear the end of it on YouTube. Everybody absolutely loved it. One of the girls that I watched as well, her name is Madison Kate. This was like one of her favorite audiobooks. I kind of know what it's about. I know it's a thriller, but it's very comedic. So we have a podcast that covers true crime, and then one of the podcast hosts thinks that she's a killer. I don't know how that ties into everything, but I'm very excited to find out. So it's nice just to break things up and have a thriller as well. And then the last book I do not have physically, it is on my Kindle, and that is Phantasma. I've heard so many like different things about this. Some people absolutely love it, but then some people absolutely hate it. And it is again a fantasy, and it involves like games and like magic, and I can't remember, and necromancy. Sounds very interesting. I've been dying to read it. It's just been sitting on my Kindle for a very long time, and finally I found the perfect video for it. So let's go ahead and get started, but I'll let you know when I decide because I still have a few things to do before I start reading. I just wanted to intro this video and let you guys know what we'll be doing for the week. Hi everybody, I come bearing updates. So I know I don't check in on the weekend. So I started this vlog on Friday, I want to say. So I read some over the weekend, and today's Monday, so checking in. I made it quite a way through Phantasma. I don't know if I mentioned I was picking this book. It was between this and Fourth Wing, but I just was in the mood to read on my Kindle. That came out funny on my Kindle. Phantasma by Kylie Smith I started. This book is interesting in the sense that it's based in like, I want to say the early 60s or 50s. So it's based in New Orleans, which obviously witching and all of that stuff, very, very rife, very fitting. Our main female character, Ophelia, it starts off with at the beginning of the book with her mother passing away, and her mother's a necromancer, and she's been taught all these ways just in case anything did happen to her mother, and she needs to perform a ritual in order for the magic to transfer to her. But she does also have a sister. Her and her sister are close as far as she thinks, but her sister's been allowed a lot more freedom than she has because obviously she was practicing to become a necromancer and her sister wasn't. So her sister was basically free to, you know, live her life and do as she pleased. But then when her mom passes away, they realize they're in serious debt and they're at risk of losing their manor. Her sister decides to enter this competition, which is literally frowned upon in every single religion, every single town, and this is called Phantasma. And in Phantasma, it's like a game that you do multiple levels, and it it is based on the 9 circles of hell. So her sister enters this, and Ophelia, her sister's name is Genevieve. Ophelia is like besides herself because her sister just left her a note. So once she figures out a bunch of clues, she assumes that her sister entered Phantasma, and she herself enters. But she cannot make contact with her sister until she reaches level 7. So there are devils, there are demons, there are ghosts, there are ghouls. There's so many dark entities. She being a necromancer, I think she's the only one with magic in like the contestant size of thing. But it's really interesting in that sense. I find it very intriguing, but at the same time, it can get a little bit boring. I found that I've read 200 pages, but I still feel so disconnected from the characters. I don't feel anything for Ophelia or her. She's made a friend in there. I don't feel anything. There's a bunch of smut scenes and all of that, but I feel like it's out of place. So I'm enjoying my time, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be a high rating for me. It is going to be part of, I think, a duology. So this is the first installment. I don't know. Everybody made it sound like it was the most fantastic book they've ever read. And it is interesting. It's a unique concept for what I've read. At the same time, there's a lot of faff in it, put it that way. There's a lot of faffing, and I feel like some of that could have gotten cut out. She has rivalries like with the other contestants, or maybe they just don't like, I don't know how to explain it, but obviously it's natural in any competition to have rivalries and enemies, and it's just it's described so much that I'm not sure the relevance of it in the story. Like I get it, but it's like multiple pages of it, and I don't feel like it needs to be that deep. There's hauntings that happen during the competition as well, and it's just described in way too much detail for my liking. I'm happy. It feels about like a 3-star, maybe 3.5. We'll have to wait and see until I'm a bit further. I'm currently on page 221, which is 46% of the book. So I'm going to keep reading and I'll let you guys know. I am doing another video simultaneously to this, so I'm sorry if you see some of the same books in it, but it's a little challenge that I've set for myself. Yeah, I'm hoping to get a little bit further. It is quick to read, and obviously it's on my Kindle, so I'm reading even more faster. Is that even English? I'm reading even faster. It just doesn't feel like it's something for me, but it's so popular, I had to pick it up. I had to. I will talk to you guys when I get a bit further, or even maybe at the end. Definitely if something interesting happens, I'll let you guys know. Good morning, friends. We did it. I'm so excited. We finished Phantasma this morning. I am doing another reading vlog simultaneously, which is nothing to do with books, but this book will appear in it, so don't mind that. I won't really be talking about the books in that video. It's more of like a challenge. So I finished Phantasma this morning, and honestly, it took me a while to get into the book. I don't know what I said exactly yesterday, but it took me a while. And I think the action only really picked up from like page 150 to 180, where it started to get really interesting and I was enthralled. The last bit of the book was really good. I didn't expect the plot twist at all. It was so good, and I landed on a 4-star. I liked our main female character, Ophelia's development. I didn't really like her. I wasn't fond of her in the beginning. I knew that the ghost that she was working with had a secret, but I really didn't expect it to be that. So it was really interesting. I loved the ending. The next book is going to be about her sister, and she's going to enter another game. If I'm not mistaken, I just read the synopsis this morning, but really happy I finally finished it. It took me a while, about 4 days. This is definitely not going to be 1 week. Really happy I finished it. Really happy I got onto this train of things. However, to answer the question, was it viral for a reason? I think people just took it to the next level. With ACOTAR, I understood that, and other people would say they didn't. Like, I've seen quite a few people now say that they didn't love ACOTAR and they're struggling to get through it. I absolutely live, breathe, eat, sleep ACOTAR. That's my favorite fantasy series so far as a new fantasy reader. This was not the same. There was lots of smut in it. Again, entire chapters, like 13 minutes of reading, just smut. So I was skipping them. I like smut, but I just felt like the plot was way more important to me. I wanted to know the levels. I wanted to know the different devils. I wanted to know so much about the story rather than just her having sex. Like that wasn't my main aim for reading this book. So I didn't like that part, and I think that's why I gave it a 4. I think that people overhyped it for sure, but it was still a fun read, if I could put it that way. So next, we're going to start Listen for the Lie by Amy Tantera. I've literally seen so many people enjoy this book. They enjoy the audio format more, and I'm not going to buy the audiobook if I own the physical book. So unfortunately, not going to be able to participate in that conversation. But at the same time, I'm still really excited to read it. I love mixed media in books, and this is like transcripts from like the podcast, like I said before, Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So I'm really, really excited. Like I said, I haven't really read the back, but once I get a few pages in, I will definitely check in and let you guys know what I think and where it's leading and what the book is actually about. So yeah, next book, very excited, can't wait. Everybody, sorry about the lighting in here, but I thought I'd just check in because I've made it quite far into this book and I don't think I've checked in about this book at all. So I'm at page 234 and this is chapter 36, so I've made it quite far, and I was completely wrong about what I thought the book was about, but I think I slightly mentioned it. But we have our main female character, Lucy Chase, who was accused of murdering her best friend, but she's still a suspect. She hasn't actually been convicted of anything because there wasn't enough evidence. She had a brain injury and has amnesia, so she cannot remember anything from that entire night, basically. They were at a wedding and she remembers leaving the house, but after that it's all like blank, and she just can't remember. I've damaged my book so much. This is 5 years later. This guy who has a podcast, his name is Ben, he comes into town and starts investigating the case. And it seems to me like he doesn't believe that she committed it, and he also believes that she had amnesia, where the whole town is just accusing her of doing this. So she moved out, but she comes back to town to her grandma's birthday. Ben is in town as well. She is listening to this podcast and all the people and what they say about her, but she's kind of unfazed about it. She herself doesn't know if she actually committed the murder or not, but she can't fathom how she would have because it was her best friend. So the podcast is just obviously going along with all this information, and then you're getting like little bits of Lucy's inside. She has a voice in her head as well, so funny, that's basically telling her to kill, and she has like these visions of like how she would commit murder, and it's hilarious. I'm finding it so funny and so endearing. It's not a thriller in any way, it's just like a mystery, and we're trying to figure out who did it. It's kind of like a less darker version, like I said, of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Absolutely loving it. That's why I've just been hooked. I've been reading all morning already. I'm doing another vlog where I'm reading like 150 pages a day. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. It's getting good. I think I probably will finish this today. And so far, my opinion that I've made, now that I've made it more than halfway, is that it's definitely worth the hype. I think the audio version is probably so good. Just hearing Lucy's like dry humor, and she just doesn't give a fuck, and I absolutely love that about her. She makes a very unreliable narrator because it's just so funny. I have my suspicions about who actually committed the murder, but I'm between two characters. Obviously, I'm not going to mention it because that will be a spoiler. It's so intriguing. The character of her grandma as well is hilarious. I don't really like her parents. They seem like assholes. Her ex-husband is even more of an asshole. He basically got divorced from her because of this murder, but I think there's more to it. I can't wait to get to the plot twist, and I think that is why I keep just coming back to it. It is now currently like 9 a.m, hence why I'm still in my pajamas, but I've been reading for like an hour and a half already. Very, very excited about this, and it's 100% worth the hype that I've seen around this book. That's all I have to say for now, so I'm going to go off and I'm probably going to read a bit more. I have so much editing to do. I also didn't check in yesterday because I went to my wedding venue just to confirm like the decorations and table settings and decorations decorations and stuff like that. So I didn't check in because that took a while, and I went to visit my sister and stuff. So I didn't check in yesterday, but I'm really, really enjoying this book. I can't wait to get to Fourth Wing as well, because I really want to see if the hype is worth that, but I've left it for last. Loving it. So I will catch you guys on the flip side, obviously, when I finish the book and come to you with my rating. Oh my god. Oh my god, what the fuck? I really didn't expect this at all. How did I not see it? Like, maybe a few pages ago, I thought maybe it could be, but I literally was in another direction completely. Oh god. Holy shit. Oh, come on, Ben. Fucking hell. Hi everybody, sorry about the mess around me. I literally have not moved, and I just finished Listen for the Lie. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I didn't expect the plot twist at all. I didn't think it was the person that it was. Like, maybe, I want to say maybe 50 pages before the end, I was like, maybe, but my mind was still set up and I didn't expect what transpired at the end here. Oh my gosh, I love this book. It wasn't a thriller, like I said, it was more of a mystery, and I'm going to give this a 4-star. I really loved it. It was witty, it was funny, it had the right amount of suspense and the right amount of like irritation, and it was just great, and it made me feel really good finishing this book. So very happy about that. 4 stars, like I said. But next, obviously, this has been a thorn in my side since I conceived this since I conceived this video, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is probably the most spoke about book in this entire vlog, probably on the internet as well. So especially because Onyx Storm just came out, I think even more people have this top of mind, but I can't wait to get into it. Again, I didn't read the back. I don't really know what it's about, but I know it's about going to like dragon school or something, but there's dragons and the dragons talk, and that's it. So let me get a bit through this book and then I will definitely update you guys. I plan to read some today, but we'll see how far I get. But otherwise, I'll just quickly update you tomorrow and let you know what I think and what I surmise that the book is about, because yeah, sometimes I just get it so wrong and I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to make things up, but that's kind of what I surmise the book is about. But yeah, ready to start this now, and this is going to be our final book. This video hasn't taken a week. It's taken a week already to read these 2 books. Phantasma took me forever to read. This took me about 3 days because I've been quite busy, but I have enough time. So I'm not sure how long this one will take me because it's like 500 pages, I want to say. Just under 500 pages. So yeah, this is going to take a bit, and I've heard that it's like quite one of those fantasies where you have to concentrate. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, but I'm very excited that I finished Listen for the Lie. I can finally get up and get things going now because I've literally just sat here getting this read and I'm still in my pajamas, still in bed. So I definitely will get going with my day. But I just wanted to check in because I just finished it. And yeah, it didn't take me as long as I thought it would, but I'm really happy. But yeah, moving on swiftly. Hi everybody, I have some astonishing news. I didn't even check in over the weekend at all, but I finished it. And I'm gonna give it 5 stars. The hype was real. I didn't think so. I think people just overhype things, but I was sucked in. I read this in 2 sittings and I was super excited, super hooked, super immersed in it, and I'm sad to say that I loved it. I loved it so much. I didn't even check in to tell you guys how I was feeling, and I just ended up finishing it. Fourth Wing, if you don't know, living under a rock, I've known what this book is about, kind of, but honestly, I just put it off because it was so popular. I didn't want to be disappointed, but it follows our main female character, Violet Soaringale. How fitting, Soaringale, because she soars on a dragon. She goes to a war college, and her whole life she's actually studied to become a scribe, who, obviously you know what a scribe is, surely. It's very much like documenting an historical, like, what do you call it? Documenting. So yeah, she wanted to become a scribe her whole life, and last minute, like 6 months before she's going to college, her mom makes her go to the rider side. So a rider is a dragon rider, and they do hand-to-hand combat, they fight wars, they are much more physical rather than like brains. And she has like a sort of birth defect, which makes her bones quite fragile, as well as her ligaments. So she's constantly breaking her bones. She's constantly pulling something and hurting herself. So nobody thinks she can actually make it as a rider. Her hair also like loses pigment towards the end of it. So she has like normal, I think it's brown or black hair, and then it fades into silver. She's very small in stature. She's very petite, no muscle tone, because she's never really actually trained physically because she was a scribe, so she spent most of her time in a library. She enters this college and the odds are literally against her, and she is basically set up to fail, and everybody thinks she will fail. But because her mom is the general of the army, everybody's kind of got it out for her. So there's this old rebellion that used to happen, and the leaders of that rebellion were executed, but their children were marked with like a rebellious marking. Her mom was the one who put them all there. They all got it out for her. I just thought it, firstly, the character arc of like a small, fragile woman going into like this more physical environment is such a typical character arc, and she like, you know, beats it against all odds. It was very typical, but it was done so well, and I absolutely ate this up. I was so excited. I really did like the depiction of the dragons as well. Oh my gosh, they're so funny. They're really dry and humorous. Like I just loved everything about this book. I've heard not so great things about the second book, so I'm really dreading going into that because I absolutely love this book. I loved the action. I loved the bonding and found family, and it was amazing. There was one character that you'll see that passes away, and I didn't think that was necessary. They shouldn't have made him die, but yeah, that was the only thing. But I'm gonna give this a 5 star. So this is my first 5 star of 2025, and I'm really excited. I finally got my hands on this and read it. I'm probably gonna buy the entire trilogy if I'm being honest, because I absolutely ate it up. So just to recap, we read Phantasma, and I'm pretty sure I gave this a 4. I didn't think it was worth a hype. I think it was way too hyped. I didn't love all the smut in it. It kind of just put me off a little bit, and I skipped it because there were entire chapters of smut. All in all, I did think it was a fun read. And then we had Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. Honestly, this book was definitely worth a hype. I thought it was entertaining. It was funny. I loved the mystery element. I loved our female character. She was literally so dry again, and very like, she liked the shock value of things. Very awkward, very forward. She literally just spoke her mind, and she was already shunned, so she didn't care, and I absolutely loved it. So I did think this was worth the hype. I'm really happy I read these popular books because firstly, they're off my TBR, and secondly, they were all really good. I didn't get anything under a 4 star here, which is absolutely amazing. I hope my reading experience for the rest of the year is just as good. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in my next one. Thank you for being here. Bye.